Today, I'll walk you through how I renovated my 100-year-old dilapidated fireplace into our gorgeous new electric fireplace. Now, I have more in-depth videos of each of these steps, so my hope is this quick overview inspires you to create your own design for your fireplace and show you just how simple it can be. We first had to remove the existing fireplace surround to reveal the original wood-burning fireplace. This was a major headache because it had layers of previous renovations on it, and we found termite damage in the hearth and the base. We wanted the new hearth to be flat on the floor to give us more floor space, but once it was all out, it was time to start with the subfloor. I have a video on how to do this, so I won't spend much time on it, but the trick was ensuring that the spacing was correct, so the tile for the hearth would sit flush with the wood floors, while also being completely stable for the tile. Any flex or movement in your subfloor will cause your tile and your grout to crack. I opted not to re-pour concrete back in there for fear of the unknown. That space would have required about 600 pounds of concrete, and I just wasn't prepared for something to go wrong, so I avoided it and built a wood frame. After that, it was time to build the bump out frame. This was the most important part because it all needed to be even, and anyone who lives in an old house will tell you just about nothing is level or even. From the walls to the floor, this took a lot more time than just building a small bump out wall should take. But this is essentially just 3 small walls, 2 on the side that were about 18 inches long, and the main front facade, which is about 7 feet wide. Once the frame was complete and installed, I hired an electrician to hook up 2 outlets, one for the TV and one for the electric fireplace. That said, I also have a full video on how to build this frame, so check that out for further details. After the frame and the electricity were complete, it was time to attach the HardieBacker board. I used 1/4 inch HardieBacker board specifically to be heat resistant. I used it on the floor as well as the overall surround, and making sure I was staggering the joints. Now, I did tape and mud the seams, but I later learned this really wasn't necessary, and it's primarily for wet areas like bathrooms. But doing it like this to put tile on a wall really isn't necessary. Then we added 12 by 24 inch tiles. We used the same on the floor and the hearth. We had some advice to make the floor different, but we felt it was going to be too busy with too many patterns and too many types of finishes in one area. So we opted for more of a seamless look, and I think it came out really well. I used a stainless steel Schluter edge on both the hearth and the corners of the fireplace, and I'm really happy with how they came out as well. After the tile, I mounted the TV, and once again I have a video on how to do this, so I won't go over too many details, but when drilling through porcelain tile or any type of tile, you have to use very specific tile bits and be very careful. The last thing you want to do is crack one of these when it's already installed. And that was it. It took way longer than I wanted, but I'm incredibly happy with how it turned out. I hope this gives you an overall idea and concept about how to build your own. You can customize it any way you'd like by making it bigger or smaller, having a square or rectangle fireplace, adding a mantle or no mantle like we have, having a raised hearth or a flat hearth. The options are endless, and I promise if I can do it, so can you. Hope this was helpful. Reach out anytime with questions or concerns. Have a great day.